Welcome to Elevate eCommerce, the podcast where we elevate your e-commerce game. Join our host, Hi Mag, CEO of Eva, as he shares the latest strategies in Amazon, Omnichannel, and advertising. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or just starting, Hi's insights and expert interviews will help you thrive in the e-commerce world. Tune in for practical tips and transformative success stories to elevate your business to new heights.
Hi, welcome back today for another episode of our podcast, Elevate eCommerce. And today we have CEO of Eva himself, Hi Mag. I want to pass the torch to him and let him introduce himself and tell you a little bit about advertising. And maybe if you stick around, you'll get a nice little hack at the end of it.
Thank you very much, Mayana, for inviting me to the Elevate e-commerce. And I'm very excited because I was the host for the last maybe 10 episodes. And this will be the first time that I'm the one who is getting interviewed. So I'm already excited, a bit anxious though as well. But anyways, let's start. So I'm the CEO and co-founder of Eva. Eva is a journey that I'm in for the last 4 years. Before that, maybe for 20 years as a computer engineer and managing businesses. I worked in Oracle, IBM, Accenture, very big companies. And I'm as I said, computer engineer who has an AI degree, and that is for the last 20 years or so. Maybe, like going back to 4 years ago, when I was the vice president of Oracle, I met with my current co-founder, Barry, who I know for the last 20 years. And we had a side business with him, maybe doing $100 million on Amazon. And one of the things that we decided at the time, or actually two things. One, everything on Amazon will become data-driven decisions. And the second was the advertising will become super important on Amazon. And it was already important, but not as much as today, and it was not as big as today. So that was a great decision. So we started building the platform. Today we have thousands of customers. We are very much enjoying the growth and building the platform and agency services around that. So we provide full service account management for Amazon, Walmart, Wayfair, Etsy, Faire, TikTok Shop, as well as Target, as well, and also advertising services, SEO services, and the platform and the recovery services for brands for all e-commerce marketplaces. That's what we do.
Wow, that's a lot. So to start you off, I am going to ask you a couple questions that we like to ask our guests, or that you have formally asked some of your podcast guests. So let's start with question number one. What is your advertising strategy?
Great question. So I love it. And with Eva, we have a bit of a different approach because, as I said, from the beginning, we always want to have data-driven approach. And it's not just a marketing buzzword for us because the two co-founders of Eva are computer engineers. Everything we do is data-driven. Even in our private lives, we see a lot of things as ones and zeros. It's kind of binary. That's why we thought like it has to be data-driven approach, right? But there has to be a foundation. So the foundation is on e-commerce, especially on Amazon. We haven't found a very good solution, even like a couple of years back, which shows the profit at the store level, at the product level, at the SKU level. Even if we want, let's say we have 5 brands in one single store and we want to see a grouped a profit at the group level. And it was extremely hard. So what we did as a first step was the foundation, like laying down the foundation based on a profit-driven strategy, and then adding the advertising on top, which is the artificial intelligence And the artificial intelligence here helps us to almost process 25 billion points of data every day. I mean, this is actually amazing because we are one of the largest API consumers of Amazon. And then the system decides what should be the next best action on advertising. Now, the interesting part is it's not enough. So, because you still need the human who can run the AI in the best way. So that's why we have the best PPC and DSP specialists on top. And we start with the profit foundation. Then we look into the growth foundation and the AI, which does the advertising and finding the next best action. And then we are tailoring it to the business strategy by leveraging our experts on AMC, DSP, PPC across Amazon and all other marketplaces. That's in a nutshell what we do.
Wow, that is definitely a nutshell. So, my next question for you is, it's a really competitive marketplace, right? So, what innovative advertising techniques can e-commerce businesses use to stand out in this highly competitive marketplace?
So I think I would start with definitely by using AI, by using the EVA platform. We are creating a huge differentiator because number one, I mean, I think as of today, we are coming at the end of 24. It is impossible, or it is not in like humanly possible anymore to manage advertising. I just give you an example. We do hourly bid optimization as of today, and the hourly bid optimization is even done in a profit-driven way, and we update the bids every hour. Now, any single product may have 100 campaigns, let's say, at any point of time. And if you are doing 24 updates during the day, we are talking about 2,400 updates. And if you have like 5 products, then it will be a lot of updates. Now, can we imagine like just a one PPC specialist who can do all of it at the same time? It's pretty much impossible. So that's why, I mean, our first strategy is to use the AI to do the mundane tasks and to do the tasks which are already impossible to do by human. And that is a unique differentiator. I basically recommend everyone to use AI because it's really making the life very easy. The second thing is the AI solutions in the market. First of all, they are not AI solutions. They are just rule-based systems. What is the difference, right? The rule-based system says if ACOS is 22%, optimize the bid, reduce the bid by 1 cent. This is a rule. Now, which means that it is still very useful, but it's not real AI, because AI means a learning infrastructure. Some like you basically let the machine to learn and decide in a different way by learning what happened in the past. So in that sense, it is important for like the Amazon sellers specifically, or Walmart sellers, to make sure that they are using a real AI platform rather than just rule-based. Because also the third point here is it is not just a one-dimensional decision space. Now, I don't want to sound like too technical, but let's look at it from a real life point of view, what the advertising is. So the customers are first becoming aware of your product, and then they start considering your product, and finally there is an intention to buy, and then they become customers, and maybe they can buy it again, which is more kind of the loyalty. So it already adds like a dimension where you have this marketing funnel. And if your campaign is, let's say, an awareness campaign, probably just looking at the ACOS at the awareness level is already a misleading kind of an KPI, because you need to look at a different KPI because it's awareness. If it's in consideration, it's a different one. So using different techniques with AI is already handling this multi-dimensional problem, because it's not just one dimension, one formula anymore. So for us, the most innovative technique is to use EVA.
Good answer. It thinks for you, and as does the AI. So the next question I have for you is, what affects advertising that's not advertising?
Excellent question, because sometimes some of the customers come to us with PPC demand, and 70% of our prospects, when we talk to them, their biggest pain is advertising because it's complex. But the problem is, it is just a part of the equation. That's why we actually always recommend not to work with just PPC specialist or PPC agency, but to work with the full service account management, full service agencies. Why? Because you need a holistic approach. There are 4 pillars to be successful on Amazon or any other e-commerce marketplace. The first one is the traffic, advertising. The second one is the conversion, where you have the customer, but now you need to convert it to the prospect to a customer. The third is the inventory. You don't have the inventory. What can we do as advertisers? And the fourth is the profit, right? So the profit, availability, conversion, and traffic together builds that holistic approach. And that is what we always look at. So it's not only about advertising, it is about conversion. One of the first things our AI is checking, what is the conversion rate at the category level or with the competition? Now, let's assume that the category CVR stands for the conversion rate, is 15%, but your product's conversion rate is 5%. Now, with 5% conversion rate, your ACOS will be already maybe 75%, because it is hard to convert. So we can bring a lot of traffic, but there is no conversion. So which means that we need to address that conversion issue before even we address the traffic issue, because 1 point conversion increase means that you can reduce your ACOS by 10%. What I mean to say here, if your conversion is 10%, and if you're able to increase it to 11%, then your ACOS will reduce by 10%. So it's something that can be done easily, right? If your images are optimized, you have the best images, the best video, the best listing, you have checked your competition, the keywords are relevant, and all that stuff is done properly, then definitely you will have the best advertising working for you, as long as you have the right profit and you have the right inventory availability as well. Well, does it mean that, okay, let's send all products to Amazon, and now we are in Q4, Amazon will start charging 3 to 4 times more for storage fees? So you will enjoy definitely some great revenues. But when it's January, I have seen many customers getting back to us, hey, you sold great, but I'm like, I don't see the profit anymore. Why? Because Amazon took all the money. So it happened like last year, same thing will happen this year. So which means that it is not about having very high inventory or very low inventory, but to optimize the inventory in a way that you also optimize the storage fees. So all of them together, once they are holistically covered, then you also have the best advertising strategy. Voila, then you have the best solution.
I'm convinced. Um, so I'm curious if you could share with me a case study of a successful e-commerce story, or something where, Eva came in and really turned something around.
Right. So I kind of just remember this product launch. It's a product that is manufactured in Canada, and very traditional company. What happened was, like, their products were sold on Amazon by resellers, and they have a business on Amazon which is doing $1,000. And when we started talking, first of all, we look into the market. When we always do, by the way, when we meet with a customer, the first thing that we do is a market analysis. It's very important to understand the directly accessible market and the overall market. Then we look into the competition. Then we look into like how much we can grow this business. The results were amazing. I mean, it was like much above that $1,000 revenue that they are doing, right? And the second thing is this customer is already doing a lot in retail space, and even their D2C revenue was 10K, and the retail revenue was probably around maybe $1 million. So that's the reason why they ignore Amazon. Now we started with Amazon. That's why also not having a PPC only approach, but full service approach is important. The first thing we did was we used dynamic pricing techniques, which is another feature or a benefit of Eva. With dynamic pricing and by using some other special ways, we got rid of the resellers who are selling their product. And then we start focusing on the competition. We targeted the competitors because they are the manufacturer and they have the best product anyway, which means they can also play with the price. We kind of like come up with a strategy of dynamic pricing and AI-based advertising working together, and the results were amazing. After 3 months, we were able to bring that customer to 110K a month, and after 9 months, they were around like 300 to 400K per month. And you know what happened at that point? Your even manufacturing facility in Canada was not enough to fulfill the orders coming from Amazon. And they were asking us, hey, guys, can we stop? Like, can we keep it a bit lower? Well, that's also not a bad idea, by the way. When you know that you don't have enough inventory or you have limited inventory, then you can focus on the profit, right? So that's what we did. We increased the prices. Their profits tripled and their sales kind of stayed the same, but the profit tripled. So it was like amazing for them, keeping this, keeping like first growing, like getting rid of resellers, building a great brand on Amazon, then reaching to almost a couple of $1 million, like 5 millions, and then tripling the profit at that time. So very happy customer, and I always enjoy working with customers, and hopefully we make them happy, because at the end of the day, most of the customers we work with are small and medium businesses, and they are family owned. So you are changing the life of a family in a way, and it's so amazing, so fulfilling.
Well, it definitely sounds like you changed that business's life, or the owners. So you touched on this a little bit, but I wanted to ask further. What role does AI play in optimizing advertising strategies for e-commerce businesses? And can you share some real-world examples?
Well, working with AI almost for the last 27 years. And when I say that, people, hey, were there any AI even 27 years ago? And I would say yes, in theory, yes, because we had this very large computers, or even most of the algorithms were available that even you can solve we built algorithms like with pen and paper. Now it will be very unlikely for the people, even today's computer engineers, to believe in that, but majority of the algorithms are even coming from 20, 30, 40 years ago, even today's chat GPT architecture. So there are two ways of leveraging AI. Number one is especially on the content side, search engine optimization. I believe that, the chat GPT, also Gemini, and several other AI tools play an important role. And I think almost 95% of the agencies and brands are using it. The way we use AI is in three areas. Number one is advertising, the second is pricing, and the third is the inventory replenishment optimization. And these are different algorithms. And the most complex one is advertising, because pricing is like there are a few dimensions with the price, and dynamically changing price every day based on velocity, last 24 months sales, and ACOS and TACOS and inventory availability is very helpful. But combining that price changes with advertising changes creates, first of all, a unique differentiator of EVA, and second, creates the best result, because there's only a few that are able to do that. And pretty much 100% of them are EVA customers, because there is no solution which can do both advertising AI and pricing AI together. So on the AI advertising side, it's a multidimensional problem of taking care of marketing funnel, understanding price and inventory availability, understanding the customer business goals, whether it's a combination of growth, market share increase, or profit generation, and then putting it into a melting pot and building a soup. And what AI is doing, stir the soup and then you just drink the profits. That's what we do.
Well, speaking of profits, how do you focus on profits specifically with your strategy?
I mean, as Napoleon said, it's all about profits, profits, profits. Now, of course, if you're launching a new product, we always say, forget about profits, because you're launching a new product. That's sometimes, I know that Amazon sellers know about that, but a lot of traditional product manufacturers, they always want to see the profit at the first minute. And it's not possible on e-commerce. Forget about it. The first couple of months, we always launch and grow the brand. But as soon as like the product comes to a mature stage, then profit becomes very important. And all these techniques around profit-driven advertising, pricing, it all comes to the foundation. First of all, know your profits. Now, if you know your profits at the SKU level, product level, store level, group level, brand level, the next step is using all these strategies of advertising and pricing to optimize or maximize your profit. But there is one more thing that we do, and it's very important for both Amazon vendors and sellers. We make sure that we also audit every single transaction, 26 different categories, both for vendor and seller. We also deliver the best rates in the market as EVA. So more than 9,600 brands, we are doing profit recovery for them. So what we do is which is called reimbursements in the Amazon seller space, and vendor recovery for the vendors. It's a totally different story for both. But basically, we audit every single transaction and make sure that we find all the discrepancies, open cases manually, and then get the customers' money back. For the reimbursements, depending on the revenue of the customer, we are also charging a success fee. So it's like if you're not successful, nobody pays. But if they are successful, we are able to recover the money. We only take between 6, and believe me, that's the right number, 6 to 11%, depending on the revenue of the customer. And the reason why we do that is because this is adding on the bottom line between 2 to 3% revenue. If you are making $1 million on Amazon, and if you are able to recover 2%, which is very realistic, which means that you are getting $20,000 profit out of that reimbursement work too, and you're only paying 7, 8% or 6 or 10, but these are all great rates. I mean, depending on the revenue, but it's an amazing way to make sure that you don't leave any money on the table for Amazon and you take it all.
Unpopular opinion for the Amazon people, but I think that sounds very like a holistic approach, which leads me to my last question for you, which is how important is an omni-channel approach for e-commerce success, and what are some effective strategies for integrating various channels?
That's a very
Also,
good
love
question.
your success stories there.
Right, exactly. And
Yeah.
I also, because you already promised that there is this, maybe I'm going to say, maybe a hack, maybe a strategy for Amazon sellers. So I would like to combine this with that. So first of all, I mean, when we talk about omnichannel, so Amazon is the master. So if somebody comes to us, I want to launch omnichannel, we say first, let's launch on Amazon your product. And if it's successful, why not to try on Walmart, Wayfair, depending on if it makes sense, Fair, and other channels. So all these channels, I feel like they are supplementary because Amazon owns 50+% of the e-commerce in the US. The numbers are different in the other parts of the world, but especially in US, they are almost like a monopoly. But this year, what happens now is with the Chinese marketplaces, Chinese, kind of shopping experience, penetrating into US with Shane, Temu, and TikTok Shop, what we are seeing now is, and that is my hack, especially TikTok Shop is not anymore a supplementary, but a complementary strategy, because with TikTok, you are unlocking a different audience, which also buys in a different way because they want the products, they want to be influenced, they want to be inspired, where in a way that the Amazon consumer is more the analytical guy, looking at all the benefits, the images, the text, the price, where on the TikTok side, you have the inspiration, the influence part of the story. Now, does it mean that the inspired consumer will immediately buy? Maybe not, but think about that. Now you inspired that customer. What if you send it to Amazon? And now that guy may develop an intention from interest to purchase. And that is what we do. That is kind of like our best strategy for the last couple of months. We launch Amazon and TikTok together. And for all Amazon sellers, I am recommending them to immediately start TikTok. And we are very happy to help. And I'm not saying anymore, like if somebody asks me, I'm doing $100,000 on Amazon, how much I can do on Walmart? My answer would be, as everything we do is data driven, I can say, hey, Walmart will be 8 to 15% of your business. Maybe we can make you a 15K. But with TikTok, it can be 10K, it can be $1 million because it's complementary, totally different. And depending on the product, inspiration, influencing might be very different effects, which I cannot say that it is statistical. It is not. And it can generate even more revenue than Amazon. So that is what we do now. Use always TikTok.
Wow. Well, that is so exciting. And I'm excited for everyone who's involved in Eva to elevate their brands. And I do hope we see you next week on the Elevate e-commerce podcast for our next guest to be announced.
Thank you very much, Mayana, for inviting me.
You're so welcome. Hi. Thank you for enlightening everybody with all of your extensive experience in the e-commerce space and AI, which is very fascinating.
Thank you.